As we are beginning this third week of Advent, which reminds me of the time between my wife's second and third trimesters of all her pregnancies, and in our house that was not a good time. At least that was the way it was. My wife hated being pregnant. She always told me if she only had to go through delivery, yes, you could have a baseball team. But if I have to go through this much more, you ain't getting that. She never liked the waiting and the preparing, but it always intrigued me. I wanted to imagine, trying to figure out what the baby would be like. Would it look like me? Look like her? Would it have mousy brown hair or curly black hair? Blue eyes like me, brown like her? Then the baby arrives, and your life changes forever. Although us parents here pretend that we put the baby on a schedule, but the baby actually schedules us. Our lives somehow revolve around another person who is dependent and independent at the same time. Our lives change because we have someone else to worry about, and our lives are never quite the way it used to be. And I've digressed. But, on the other hand, it's sort of what Advent is all about. Getting ready. Getting ready to celebrate the birth of Jesus and His coming into our lives and our world. And things will never be the same again. Now for John the Baptist. From where he was at that time in his life, Jesus may have not been the Savior he was imagining. Jesus did not appear as the Prince, although we always refer to Him as the Prince of Peace. And certainly no king, but we call Him the King of Kings. He was not born in a palatial estate, but rather in a douro shed in someone's backyard. And He was not born to someone of influence, but to Joseph and Mary, two regular working people like each one of us. John the Baptist was asking an important question in our gospel reading today. He wanted to know, should we celebrate or should we still wait? Is it Advent or is it Christmas? John the Baptist had expectations of his Messiah and his Savior at that time. Maybe he expected to be freed from prison with the coming of the Messiah, but that wasn't going to happen. He needed his question answered, and I think for many of us today, it's still our question. And this is very complicated in the world we live in, which celebrates Christmas. But the world is unclear what Christmas celebration is all about. Christmas has become so popular in our culture, but we've lost the meaning of Christmas Day and of Advent. Christmas Day is God coming to live among us in Jesus, and He did not avail Himself of the things that our culture values: power, prestige, money, creature comforts like nice homes and cars. What Jesus brought was the good news. He responds to John the Baptist's disciples and explains all the miracles God performed through him, like making the deaf hear and the blind see. Advent is a time when we prepare and wait for the unknown, just like a couple waiting for the baby to arrive. Waiting is difficult, even in the best of circumstances, while on the other hand, celebrating is a lot of fun. For example, just the other evening, my youngest daughter in Pensacola called and said, "Dad, turn on the television and watch this cooking show with me." It was on the Food Network. Okay, how many Food Network junkies are there out there like my daughter and me? Now, don't be afraid. There's lots of people out there who like to watch it. She watches it continually. And there was a show on Christmas dinners, and the cook was explaining his elaborate preparation to make the perfect Christmas dinner. Everything on the screen looked great, and then he said, "There is something important to remember about Christmas." And I began to get excited. I thought, finally, someone gets it and is going to say it out loud and on TV. Kind of surprising. But alas, he said the most important thing to remember about Christmas dinner is sharing that dinner with family and friends. Well, while family and friends is an important part of Christmas, that is not what we are celebrating. We are celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, Emmanuel, which means God is with us. For God the Father gives us what we need. It may not always be what we wanted or imagined, but God knows what is best for each one of us. God is not Santa Claus looking at our long list of wants and needs and providing for them and our stockings. Yet, even Santa Claus celebrates the birth of Jesus. I have this figure that has been a staple in my home. It's sitting in our living room on the coffee table. And we even had a book to explain it to the children, what it was. Santa Claus kneeling at Jesus. Even Santa Claus celebrates Jesus. And I had it on our coffee table to remind us and our family not to get caught up in the trappings and the presents and lose the real meaning of Christmas. The true celebration has to do with God caring about each one of us so much that He came to live in our lives through Jesus. Not as a powerful political leader, but as a healer. He did not appear as a celebrity or sports star, but as a peacemaker. Jesus came as someone worth waiting for. He fulfilled the greatest prophecies of old, the prophecies of a Messiah. There will always be times in our lives where maybe we're asking cynically or despairingly, like John the Baptist, are you the one, or should we look for another? But for us in today's world, where is Jesus among us? I think I know the answer to that question. If each of us actively takes the time during the rest of this Advent to patiently prepare and wait for December 25th, when we celebrate the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ, among us, and allow Him to live in your heart and to be a part of your life, He will illuminate His face in each one of us. This will allow us to be the face of Jesus to those around us. They will know that the Messiah is in our world through our actions and our love of each other. Let us continue in this Advent season remembering to prepare, wait, and believe in what we are celebrating.